What's up, everybody? Welcome back to part 6 of my Making a Murderer review, where I'm going back looking at the Making a Murderer series, the timeline of events, and giving my commentary, my opinion on the subject at hand. The trial started in the last episode. Part 6, episode 6 opens up with on March 2nd, 2006, the day after Brendan Dassey is arrested, and approximately 1 year before Stephen Avery's trial starts, Ken Kratz and Jerry Pagel hold a press conference. What they do is they basically just go over Brendan Dassey's statement that they had gotten the day before. A reporter asks them about DNA evidence, and Ken Kratz, of course, says, no comment. Why? Because there is none. Then they go back a day, March 1st, 2006, the day Brendan Dassey is arrested, and 4 months after the initial searches of the Avery property, law enforcement returns to the scene. Special Agent Kevin items were moved around the garage to look for trace evidence, and they found a flattened bullet. Dean Strang. November 6th was the first time they searched the garage. They found 11 shell casings for 22 caliber rounds. They found no bullets in 2005. So when they were doing all of the initial searches in November of 2005, they found absolutely nothing in Stephen Avery's garage. Nothing. They found nothing. They found bullets, casings, but they found casings all over the property because it's a salvage yard. They're shooting stuff all of the time. But anything linked to the case, to the murder of Teresa Halbach, there was nothing found whatsoever in the initial searches of 2005. It wasn't until the day after they got Brendan Dassey's statement that they found the bullet. Coincidence? I think not. Dave Remiker, he's a Manitowoc County Sheriff. He's the one that found the bullet on March 2nd, 2006. And he does state that Lieutenant Lank was there on both days, on March 1st and March 6th, 2006. Again, months and months after the original search. Dean Strang wonders why anyone from Manitowoc County is still searching. Why were they searching in the first place? Weren't they just supposed to be there in case the people searching needed some assistance, needed a piece of equipment? I believe the exact quote was, if we need a piece of equipment, that Manitowoc County would provide that equipment. They were not supposed to be searching ever, and now they're back. They're searching 4 months later. It's bizarre. Jerry Buting to Fassbender. Until that time, they found no evidence of linking Teresa to the trailer or the garage. There's no DNA evidence up until that point linking Teresa Halbach to being inside Stephen Avery's garage or trailer. Now, there's been a theory floating around, and I did a video on this gentleman a couple videos ago. Some people think the actual killer's name is Edward Wayne Edwards, and I've seen on some Facebook groups and Reddit posts that he appears in this episode of Making a Murderer, and to the best of my ability, I believe at 12 minutes and 34 seconds into episode 6, this is when people say he appears behind Ken Kratz. There's a gentleman standing behind him. He's not up close, so you can't tell for sure if it's him. But if you look at pictures of Edward Wayne Edwards and look at this guy, you can definitely see why people think it may be him. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying there isn't a clear picture of him, so it's definitely possible it could be him. And I guess Edward Wayne Edwards was known for showing up to trials and funerals. Who knows? Maybe that is him. Maybe that is Edward Wayne Edwards. Has the filmmakers ever commented on that? I've never seen anything, but of course I haven't looked at everything yet either, still researching. But as of yet, I've not seen anything where the filmmakers have actually commented on that. That would be interesting to see if they accidentally got the real killer on film. Could you imagine? That would be crazy. Now, the lady that was testing the DNA, Sherry Coolhan, item FL, the bullet, that's what they labeled the bullet as, item FL. She found Teresa's DNA on the bullet. However, she accidentally introduced her own DNA in the testing, but states it did not have an impact on the results. How could that not have an impact on the results? You're accidentally putting someone else's, in this case your own, accidentally DNA in with the evidence. That is absolutely going to affect it. I mean, I guess in theory you could pull your own numbers out, but that legally in a murder trial, that has to be not allowed. You would imagine, I can't imagine there's any state anywhere in the United States I was like, well, just throw in Joe's DNA. That's not going to matter. Are you kidding me? Of course it matters. Jerry thinks that Teresa's DNA might have been planted on that bullet since they never found anything before, and they already had Teresa's DNA in the lab where the testing was being done. And nobody from Stephen's team was allowed in where they were doing the DNA testing because too many people around would cause contamination. She did it herself. There was no one for others. So I also don't understand how they can't allow someone from Stephen's team to watch the DNA testing being done. How is that fair or right, especially when you're suspected of planting evidence? You think on both sides they would want everything to be fair, but of course they don't. But you would think in the right situation, if the prosecution knew they had the right guy and had the right evidence, they'd be like, I don't care, send whoever you want, stand back a few feet, and watch us do everything correctly. But of course they didn't want that to happen. Jerry shows a note to the court and Sherry that Sherry wrote while talking to Fassbender on the phone. She wrote a note saying that Fassbender told her to try to put Teresa in his house. Try to put Teresa in Stephen Avery's trailer. Why? Why does she need to try to put him in the trailer? If the evidence shows she was in there, then she was in there. If it wasn't, you should be like, we got the wrong guy. Let's go find the right guy. Nope, they wanted Stephen, so they're like, try to put her in his house. It's ridiculous. Jerry says there was no visible blood on the bullet. All of the DNA evidence was used on this one test. So if the test came back inconclusive, which it obviously should have, one would think, then it could not be retested. But if that happened, she wouldn't have been able to do what Fassbender asked and put Teresa in the garage or the trailer. There, if this isn't, let's just say for giggles that this wasn't a frame job. How terrible are these people at doing their actual job correctly? If this is them doing their best, not lying, not hiding, not framing, brutal, brutal, brutal. Stephen Avery says something ain't right. They checked that property over and they didn't find anything. And he's right. During the initial searches, they didn't find anything. It was only after Brendan Dassey fed them from a coerced statement that they found the evidence. Jerry states they cut out part of the garage floor, looking for blood, looking for DNA, but no blood or DNA of Teresa was ever found in the garage, other than the bullet that may have been planted, and it wasn't cleaned. The garage wasn't cleaned because they still found Stephen Avery's DNA, which makes sense since it's his garage. If you search this desk I'm sitting at right now, you're gonna find my DNA because I'm here every day. So Stephen Avery works in his garage, I'm assuming, right? So you're going to find his DNA all over the place. Pete Bates, who is Stephen Avery's lawyer's private investigator, says she was shot a few times, but there was no blood in the house or garage, and doesn't think Stephen Avery is capable of cleaning up a crime scene like that. He states nobody really is. You would always find something. So where is the blood? Where's the blood? There's no blood. They said she was stabbed in the stomach in Stephen Avery's bedroom. There's no blood on the mattress, there's no blood on the sheets, there's no blood anywhere. I said this before, but this is some Dexter level cleanup. Sherry, the person that was testing the DNA, stated that there was no mattress or bedding ever sent to her for testing. If Teresa was in that bedroom, if they really believed she was in that bedroom, they would have sent that, no doubt. They said she was shackled to the bed, stabbed in the stomach, raped. But no DNA? You don't even bother to send the bedding or the mattress? Man. And she didn't find any DNA of Teresa anywhere, and there was also no DNA found anywhere of Brendan Dassey. Of course not. He wasn't involved. He had nothing to do with it. Fassbender never called forensics to the burn pit. Dr. Scott Fairgrieve, he works in forensics, says that the people that did the search had no approach to collecting evidence. There was no grid used in the burn pit. He was told that there were shovels used, and he states that that is not the way things are usually done. He is not able to say where the body was burned. Dean Strang says the body was burned somewhere else, and then someone interested, this is what he thinks, then someone that was interested in framing Stephen Avery moved the bones, but thought they had moved them all, but didn't. That's why there was bone scattered over 3 different burn sites. Scott Tadjik, which is Barb's husband, Brendan Dassey's mother's husband, so his stepdad, says he went hunting at 3 p.m. and said he saw Bobby Dassey. They were crossed ways on the highway, on Highway 147. Dean asks him, other than your mother, who he went and visited in the hospital that day, is there anyone else that saw you? Scott says no. Bobby says, Scott saw me go hunting. Jerry Buting, those 2 people alibi themselves. No one else saw them. Then states they were on the property, they had access. They definitely had access and were capable of doing this crime. Lisa Buckner, who is the high school bus driver, says she dropped the boys off between 3:30 and 4:40. They ask her how she knows this. She says it's the same time every day. She drives the same route every single day, so she knows the time. So between 3:30 and 3:40, says she saw Teresa taking photos at that time. Bobby said earlier that he saw Teresa taking photos at 2:45. So that definitely is poking holes in the timeline. Jerry says that whoever framed them had no fear of getting caught, and who better than a police officer to know how to frame someone. The show fades out with Lieutenant Lank on the stand. Ooh, things are definitely picking up. Business is picking up in the Making a Murderer documentary. And this case is absolutely crazy. So many twists and turns, so many different theories. that guy, Edward Wayne Edwards, that could possibly be the killer in the background of the documentary. Man, I have no idea if that's true or not, but that's some of the theories that's out there. That's some of the rumors that's out there. So go check it out for yourself. 1234 of episode 6. And what do you think? Do you think that's Edward Wayne Edwards in the background? Or do you think it's just some dude from Manitowoc County? Could be either. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon.